All
Morning.
right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. So, as you can see, we do not have Norm today, but we do have Peter. And Peter, what's that thing in front of you?
It's my Norm microphone. I got the dogs in the background. I got the big headphones on. I'm ready to go.
Excellent. You're filling in perfect. Thanks, man. All right, guys. Welcome. Happy Friday. Hope everyone had an amazing day yesterday. Again, this week has been very, very eventful, especially with whatever's going on with the market. The stocks we had yesterday, also some pretty good movers. We can't go through them because of time constraints with the show lately, with the way our gappers list has been. But again, just amazing moves yesterday. BA was incredible. Tons of great action there from the pre-market all the way into the open. Facebook and Nvidia. We did get some chop at the first hour or so on some of these stocks, but there were some good ones that did do pretty well. So good morning, Peter. How are you doing today? And you will take us into the market pulse this morning.
Yeah, I am doing great, thank you. So, guys, we're Friday, obviously today, heading into a long weekend. Not sure what to expect with a long weekend that is not a long weekend, right? Because we don't have the normal travel and activity that would be happening. Normally, Wall Street quiets down. We get low volume on these types of Fridays, which means we just have to be a little more careful. As you would expect, there is nothing on the economic calendar. We've got no announcements happening today. That being said, there may be stuff out of the White House. Yesterday afternoon, we saw the markets drop a little bit going into the close with the tensions between the U.S. and China ramp up. So there may be some unscheduled announcements coming from either side. So we'll see what happens. But otherwise, I'm actually expecting a relatively quiet day.
All right, thank you for that. Appreciate that, Peter. Yeah, that's interesting what you mentioned, though. You're right. This, I think, probably the first holiday since, at least major one that I can remember since everything has been happening. So it's going to be interesting to say the least to see how this day is going to be for this type of Friday going into a holiday weekend. All right, guys, let's get to our gappers list this morning.
We did have Easter.
Oh yeah, we did,
We,
we
we did
did.
have Easter, and it was quiet on Easter as well. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah. All right, excellent. Every day feels like a holiday now with no school and things just not being normal. Sometimes I forget the days of the week, and it's like that for a lot of people. So everything's just blending in. So,
Yeah.
all right, guys, let's get to our gappers list. We're pretty much half and half here, red and green for the most part. So let's just start with what is gapping down this morning. Then we'll look at what's gapping up. Let's start with cleaning this list first, right here. Cleaning our watches. Looks like ACB is already leading the way here, down quite a bit. We'll see what's going on with that one.
And it's actually a manageable list. Isn't
It
that a isn't
it,
that a
it is.
change, Carlos?
It sure is. It sure is. We'll see if how long it stays that way. So here is ACB, guys. This one has been really all over the place the last couple of days. Look at the swings that it has had here. Actually, yesterday sold down for the most part and came right back up. So I had a pretty good day yesterday, at least for the most part, on how it ended. Today they got some pre-market action, 800,000 shares. I'm going to keep this one on the list as well. Again, I think this is going to be active for the next couple of days. Just trying to figure out what's the next moves here. Again, we just had some pretty strong changes here, going up, heading back down, and I kind of sitting sideways a bit in this area. So we'll keep ACB on watch this morning. SBSW today is on this list. What we have here this morning, not much happening here. And Peter, feel free to cut me in anytime you have any major news on anything. But this one, I'm not liking what I'm seeing right now. Again, only 128,000. Pre-market action looks horrible for the most part, so we will skip on this one. Let's head down over to
It's
IQ.
yeah,
Go ahead.
it's a South African miner. Gold has been moving in the last few days, and it's a gold miner, so I can only assume it's moving as a result. I've got no news on it.
Gotcha. Yeah, and it
I would
looks
ignore it.
pretty crappy on the pre-market, so we'll skip on that. Here's IQ, guys. So IQ, we got a couple of block trades here, 50K just in this one candle. That's some of the volume, at least 25% of it. But for the most part, I'm not seeing anything all that great. Their daily looks interesting though. We're at a level of support that we have tested several times on here, so that could be interesting. But for the most part, I'm not seeing anything all that exciting on IQ. Any news on this one, Peter, that can be causing this kind of weird move at the moment?
Yeah, I've got nothing on IQ. The general industry, though, I would say, so
Hmm.
this is obviously an IT content provider out of China. We're seeing moves in that space. We'll talk about Baba in a minute because they reported, but Baba, JD, IQ, Bilibili, they've all been sort of moving the last few days. So I think
Yep,
that's all
yep.
that's happening here.
All right, so actually, let's go to those two next, and then we'll do Roku. So let's look at Billy this morning. They are almost in the same situation. I'm not seeing all that great movement out of them right now. Pre-market looks looking very light. With the 102 down 2.7, but again, not just nothing all that exciting. And let's look at JD. Maybe JD will be the one to look at out of these type of stocks. This is the one that has been very active with some good volume, moving quite a bit. And aside from the last couple of days, this one has been doing very, very well. So I think JD could be the one to keep an eye on. I'm gonna remove IQ for now. You know what? Let's keep it. Let's keep it because I do like the daily on IQ for the most part, and we do have shares for sure. So let's keep it there for now. Here we have Roku, guys. So Roku also very interesting daily as well. I love the way this daily is setting up. You can see how we have we're sitting right at an area of resistance for I'm sorry support that was prior resistance. Pre-market action is a little bit choppy for the most part, but hopefully it can get going. We know Roku could be explosive. Let's definitely keep that one this morning and see how that develops. We had another one pop up here. No, it's gone. All right, let's go. So that's our gapping down list. Let's look at what's gapping up today.
Just
AQST.
on
Yeah.
Roku. On Roku, I like the look of it on the daily just because,
Mm-hmm.
as you said, it's sort of breaking this bottom level. There was news after the close yesterday about an investigation for patent infringement against Roku. So I don't know how serious we take that complaint that's been filed. It is literally just a filed complaint, so they haven't responded to it all, which presumably they will deny. But that may push this down. So Roku might be worth watching today.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. With that type of news, on a stock like this one that moves quite a bit, that could create some nice movements and opportunity for us to the downside, even for the short term. Again, any negative news, this stock has been doing pretty well, so any negative news can actually create some movement here for this stock. AQST this morning, their pre-market action is really all over the place, very very choppy for the most part. 220 right now. They are up 8.1. Their daily also not great. What's the float on this? Oh, 11.2. All right, so I'm gonna skip on this one, guys. Again, you can tell here just looking at their daily how nasty these candles are. Yes, it does have a great uptrend here, right? You can see how this clean has this been. But if you look at the volume, if you look at the way everything was just forming, some of these candles, I mean, every candle in here doesn't look great. Neither this consolidation. It's just something I really want to stay away from. Peter, unless you have something that sounds good for this one, but I'm not seeing anything great right now.
No, the news is pretty minor. They didn't even get a downgrade. They just got a maintain buy with a $15 target from somebody. So I wouldn't put it on my list.
Yeah, that is not going to do it with that type of activity and daily chart and also with the flow of 11.2. Here's a mRNA. Now this one, guys, this one has been really all over the place with news behind it, just dragging it up and down as we've seen the last couple of days. Right now, they're gapping up 4% with a very interesting and active pre-market activity for the most part. So this is the best pre-market action we've seen so far this morning. 1.4 million shares traded, and look at the daily. We're sitting at a level that was prior resistance, as now is becoming support for the last 3 days, including today's pre-market action this morning, bouncing off that previous day close at the moment. No, I'm sorry, Peter. I know, and I might call you that a lot today. I know that.
Right.
This one has had a lot of news over the last couple of days. What's going on with it? Anything new this morning?
Yeah, there's nothing new this morning on mRNA. I mean, as always, if you say COVID and you're working on either a virus or the tests, you sort of get a lot of moves. So mRNA is just continuing to move on that. I mean, as you can see, 4 days ago, was that Monday or Friday? I guess it was
Yeah,
Monday. That
Monday. Yep.
huge gap up, and they've been sort of leaking off ever
Hmm.
since. So, I think this is just a continuation of its activity.
Yep, excellent. So we'll keep an eye on that one. All right, we have our first cruise line coming up here, NCLH this morning. They are up 3.3. Let's take a look at NCLH. Here we go. So 1 million shares traded so far. They're daily breaking out nicely. Now, I didn't keep this one on the list yesterday. It was impossible for me. But just look how it broke out of this area we were talking about. The daily looked great. We just has so many to watch on here. And then with Baba, Nvidia, Facebook, all these other stocks hitting all-time highs. I mean, they really took a priority over this one. But if you were watching this, man, look how great that breakout was above 13. And today we're gapping up some more. We are up now 3.3 for the most part with some decent volume. So now I'm not seeing the rest of the airlines here. Is there any specific news on NCLH this morning? I'm not seeing CCL. I'm not seeing RCL. We'll look at those next.
No, it's a little puzzling to me because the only news I've seen on NCLH, and there's been a couple. I mean, one, there was a downgrade on the industry overall that one analyst anyways was saying that he's got, he's sort of lowering his expectations for the whole industry. They also, Norwegian announced specifically that they were delaying anybody that had departures in July are going to be delayed, so they're not going to depart in July for cruises. So, neither one of those is particularly negative, not hugely, particularly positive, but they're not hugely negative either. But I don't know, like these ones these days, as you said, CCL, RCL, NCLH, they just move around.
Yeah, they definitely do. So let's take a look at CCL. Jason was telling me that they were on this list before, but I guess now they're dropping below that 2%. Yeah, CCL is sitting right at that 2%. Wow, not as much volume. Usually this one has a lot more volume than this compared to NCLH, but this morning they have only 687 and 82, which again is still quite a bit of volume here. Their daily also very interesting for the most part right now, guys. I like the way this is setting up. Again, just potential breakout. So I like CCL. I'm going to keep an eye on this one. And then let's look at RCL, see what's going on there. Again, usually with lighter volume, still has a very interesting daily for the most part, possible breakout. So if you like the way this one trades, you like this price range at 44 instead of the other ones which are on the lower price range around 14. And the CCL is sitting at 14 as well. Yeah, they're both at 14. That could be a possible player today. All right, so we'll keep NCLH.
Well, if I can just, yeah, thank you to Stan in the room. He had a line on a news article. Looks like Credit Suisse has actually initiated coverage on the cruise lines and has put an outperform rating on them. So as opposed to the other piece of news I saw, this analyst is just starting his coverage and feels that they're ripe for growth. So that could be driving it just because he's backed by Credit Suisse.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense why that is moving that way. All right, let's look at BBBY this morning, and then we'll look at CAR next. I skipped that one. But BBBY, Bed Bath & Beyond, they are up 3% right now, 311,000 shares traded. They had a big day yesterday, and today a possible continuation. This is one of those stocks that's a little bit difficult to trade. These retailer companies sometimes, they're unless they have some really good news behind it, which I'm not aware of, Peter. Maybe you could fill us in. I'm going to stay away from it, but for the most part, what's the news that's causing this move today?
Yeah, again, it's relatively weak news, I would say. They've announced that they're going to reopen their stores, 500 North American stores, by June the 13th, and they hope to bring back 11,000 workers that they've furloughed, presumably all those that work at the stores. So, that's not unexpected. They did actually have if you look at the chart yesterday, they sort of popped up yesterday. I thought maybe it was people typing in an extra B because BBY,
Yes.
Best Buy, reported yesterday. But BBBY did actually go up in the morning and then sort of flatline through the afternoon. So, like you said, I don't know if it's going to move or not. Will not make my primary list because I've always found it hard to trade.
Yeah, it's one of those that's not the cleanest for sure. Although looking at this yesterday, just the 5 alone, man, this looks pretty clean. Look at this pop. Again, no signs of life on this one. Look at the pre-market action; it's completely dead. So again, not sure what caused this move to happen in the morning. Man, I would not be surprised if it was that confusion because just too much of a coincidence that BBY was actually the one in play yesterday. All right, let's look at CAR this morning. These guys are not doing all that much. Only 107,000 shares traded right now. They are up 3.3, but for the most part, I'm not seeing anything great out of them. They're daily hitting an area of resistance right now around 17. Looks to be like 1740, 1750. But again, pre-market action is not looking good at all. All right, we have gold here. We usually do not trade this, guys. So I'm going to skip right through this. I'm going to go over. Oh, CCL is popping up here. We looked at that one. We actually have that one on our list already. All right, Peter, what do you like this morning?
So I've got quite a few that I'll just mention for people to keep an eye on. Nvidia reported. I'm surprised they haven't yet made our list, but it's just because they haven't moved more than 2%.
Mm-hmm.
They beat on estimates quite handily, and as we said yesterday, still got to like the daily with it being way up here. But they provided weak guidance, so I think it's that mixed message that's keeping it flat. But I do expect it to move during the day. Nvidia is never an easy trade because it's big dollars and it tends to move a fair amount, but it certainly could be in play today. Baba is also one that I'm surprised isn't yet on our list, but 2 million shares traded and they're just over 2%. Maybe they're just about to pop
Mm-hmm.
onto our list here.
Yep, yep.
But they beat their estimates handily, so I'm surprised to see them down. But in a market where their results are very good, obviously the news out of the U.S. and that they may be pulled off the market or at least have some restrictions put on their listing is certainly causing a drag. A couple other ones to mention: DE, Deere. So I'm watching Deere and Company because they're heavy equipment. They don't have any activity pre-market. It is a Nasdaq stock, which means a NYSE stock, New York Stock Exchange stock, which means they don't often move much pre-market. But they did have earnings. They beat their numbers, which is surprising. So year over year, their numbers are down, but it was higher than the analysts expected. So this is one that sometimes comes into play again after the open, if you see anything on the New York Stock Exchange, it often doesn't tend to move pre-market, but it can be in play when the market's open. Similarly, we've got Foot Locker, again, one that is not in play right now, terrible pre-market, but they missed their numbers, and Foot Locker's been pretty beaten over the last while. So
yeah, what's the ticker for Foot Locker?
FL, sorry.
FL, there we go.
Yeah, FL. So that's one I'm keeping an eye on. The last one that I'll mention here is Palo Alto Networks, PANW. Terrible pre-market, absolutely nothing going on right now. However, look at the daily. PANW. It's just been on a steady run up. They had earnings. They beat their numbers handily. So with a good beat on their numbers and with that daily chart, to me, it's certainly going to be on a secondary list at least, because it's also coming into an area of I didn't look to see if this is all-time high, but I noticed it was sort of heading back up to the area it was in prior to the COVID downturn. So yeah, I think this is potentially worth watching.
Yep, I agree. This is one of those stocks that, again, has done an incredible bounce back here, like we've seen some of these other companies do as well the last couple of days, hitting some all-time highs. This one's not there yet, but definitely getting into the range where it was trading at before. All right, guys, let's see what you guys have on
Maybe one last one.
Yep, go for it.
I was just looking at my list. Sorry, Carlos. I was looking through my list. One last one that I will mention that I'm keeping an eye on is ABT, Abbott Labs. They've been there was some news yesterday, and then they reinforced it overnight with some announcements they've got a test that is actively being used, and they're now claiming that their test is over 95% accurate in testing for the COVID virus. So I don't know. Like, again, this is another one of those NYSE stocks, so I'm not seeing much action at all pre-market. However, I might keep an eye on it to see if it moves after the open.
Excellent. So I will definitely put that on here as well to see what we can get out of that one. All right, guys, let's see what you have on your end. Let's start here with Ricardo. So if your stock is already in here, guys, we'll go through it. If it's not, throw it out there. So Ricardo is giving us Sono, S-O-N-O this morning. See what we have here. Wow, big day yesterday out of this one. So possible continuation today. Volume is very light right now, so this could be a good possible. I'm not seeing all that much happening at the moment. But again, a big day yesterday, breaking out of some areas of resistance here. Could be a player for today if we get some good activity out of this. Let's look at over who else we have here. We have the X unknown. We have a TLRY. Let's see what's happening there. TLRY very active. Also, so Master Chief sending this one out in the chat room as well. This is active today. What's the news on TLRY? I know they've been having related news to ACB, and I know that's kind of been the one that's been moving lately quite a bit. Any specific news on this one that we have seen? Definitely worth watching this morning.
Yeah, I didn't see any particular news on it. Again, this whole industry has been moving up and down with ACB, earnings that came out a couple of days ago. So I think this is just just the continuous again movement in the sector.
Yeah. And last night, guys, just look at this pop right here into the close. I mean, just incredible volume. So a lot of this move that we're seeing today started happening actually right before the close last night, all the way into 10 from all the way from $8. So interesting. We'll keep an eye on it. This is not one of the stocks that we usually would trade. We usually like watching ACB, CRON, CGC. They're more solid. But after this has come down to reality a little bit from trading at $300, it has been a little bit more manageable. I think the daily has been a little more clean. The pre-market action has been clean as well. Let's look at BJ. So this one yesterday, guys, today had a huge day. It's funny. We were talking about how, normally this stock doesn't trade well. And look what it does yesterday. I removed it from my list. And if there's any luck in trading, is watching the right stock at the right time. And if you're watching this one, look how great this was, guys. Never look back. Just amazing pop here. Just a beautiful day for it yesterday. Right now, a possible continuation, guys. It is very obviously extended from its daily with the day that it had yesterday. It's not doing much right now. Really, really dead pre-market wise. Could be a good possible, just like Sono. It's got to get going. Could be a great continuation, but for the most part right now, not really all that active. All right, NVIDIA, we have SHOP, SHOP. This one here, guys, also very light on the volume. I love the daily as well, but I'm gonna have to skip on it because we're running out of space, but also very light on the volume this morning. CGC, we just looked at or just talked about. CGC has a very interesting daily as well, but I think between ACB, which has some really good volume, and TRRY, I think we have enough for that sector. Hopefully these ones could provide some good opportunities depending on how they trade today. Let's look at BA. BA again being amazing yesterday, possible continuation. Even with the great trade that it had yesterday, still couldn't get above this area. And it was beautiful how we had our, if you guys remember, we had our level right on here. I did post this on Twitter. I think it was 140, I forget the exact number, 141 something. It went right to that level, and then to the next one we had on our daily, we talked about this 145 again. So it's just amazing how that played out beautifully yesterday on BA with some good clean trading. Today, possible continuation. I'm already seeing some really good pre-market activity on BA, and yesterday we had the same similar pre-market action, and it went right into the open. So I definitely like the way BA is going here for possible continuation. Maybe retest that 145 one more time. All right, let's see what we have, guys. We are looking at Safe. Let's see what's going on there. The airline's not doing all that much right now. Let's see what United is doing today. United's for the most part also it's got better volume, but the pre-market is looking a lot better than Safe this morning. Definitely one that you can watch if you want to watch an airline. This would be a good one to watch this morning. All right, guys, we are running out of space and time, so I am going to just take a look at a few on our YouTube list over here, see if we have anything that has not been mentioned. NAVB, we haven't looked at this one. This one's very active, up 153. What's the float on this, by the way? Let's take a look at that. NAVB, this looks like a low flow stock.
18 million.
How much?
I got 18 million.
18 million.
Sorry. Float 10 million. I've got 10. Sorry.
Yeah, Trade Ideas is giving us 10 here as well. So again, not all that great, but it is the low flow of the day. It is definitely very active. Beautiful pre-market action, guys. 7 million shares traded right now. This is a biotech that is going pretty much parabolic right now. So I will definitely watch this on here. I'm not saying I'm going to trade it, but it's definitely one that is extremely active this morning for the low flow team. All right, folks, that is what we have. Let's go over to announcements. We have quite a bit on this list, especially for Friday, especially starting out with such a dead list on the gappers list. We have a lot that are some good potentials this morning. So, Peter, let's go to the announcements, then we'll come back and dissect this list a little bit.
You bet. Okay, so guys, we have our new podcast series, Talk with Traders. I've had the fortunate opportunity to be able to talk to some of the people whom we've interviewed and be part of those, and they are fantastic. So hopefully you'll check it out. Just look for Talk with Traders on any of your favorite podcast provider, with Google coming soon, and you'll find it. And I said you'll be able to listen in as we interview some of the traders in the room, as well as some famous and successful traders out there in the marketplace. So this week we had a great webinar from John Hiltze, one of our members here, who shared his journey, and it was a great, honest portrayal of where he's at. He's not saying he's a pro. He's saying, here's what I've done so far and where I hope to go, and really appreciate it. It was fantastic. It was recorded and put live on YouTube if you wanted to check it out, or we'll have a version that will be in our website for our members So that's great. Please check it out if you weren't able to be there live. Next week, we're going to have a session on practicing mindfulness and living in the moment by Netta. That is a friend of Andrew's. She is works in Vancouver and is a professional in this field. So we're looking forward to that on Wednesday. So next Wednesday, May the 27th, that will be our mindfulness moment. So please join us at 8 p.m. next Wednesday. Tuesday, the day before that, we'll have our regular psychology series with Module 4 delivered by Mike. Mike is going to be doing mindfulness during trading. So it's a great precursor, and it sort of leads to the theme that we're going for next week about mindfulness in your trading and why it's important. I'll admit, a number of years ago, I used to thought there's a lot of fluff, a lot of hoo-ha. But I'm telling you, it makes a significant difference in your trading. And really, it's worth paying attention to. So that's on Tuesday at 8 p.m. And then the following Tuesday, June the 2nd, I can't believe that we're only 2 weeks away from June. But Dr. Jonathan Katz will be back with us on how to cope with anxiety, which is very topical in these times. So please join us for those sessions as well. Always at 8 o'clock on Tuesdays. Mark those in your calendar so you can join us for our psychology series. And, well, look at that. Look at those handsome blokes there. I mean, how would you not want to spend some time with them towards the close? So every day at the close, we do a live show like we do here. We really just talk about what's happening in the market. We do some live trading. I've had the fortunate opportunity to trade Microsoft short 3 days in a row successfully, I'll say. And it made me very happy yesterday. People in our room were mentioning how I was so flat coming into that because I was not having a good day, and then that picked things right up. But we always have fun. You never know what's going to happen. And Brian, Mike, and myself always sort of take it. And Mike is going to be leading it this afternoon, so I hope you'll join us at 3:30 live on YouTube here in the room every market day. The last thing that I'll mention is that just to keep in mind that you can always join us here in the chat room if you haven't already at a discounted rate. For those on YouTube, we'd love to see you here. Not only join us for the pre-market and the close, you can join us all day for live trading. Use the code PREMARKET24 and you can get a discounted 1 week pass to the room and just see what it's like. See if it's for you. For 24 bucks, it's well worth it. You can just see if it's not for you. We appreciate that, but this will give you a chance to feel it out. We're confident you're going to find value and will want to join. And when you do decide to join, you can get 40% off your one-time payment membership using the code podcast. So if you do consider to upgrade your membership or join flat out, please use the code podcast and get 40% off. We hope to see you in the room soon. Actually, I should mention one last thing, guys. Don't forget, it is a holiday on Monday. So as I mentioned, holiday weekend here. So Monday, the markets are closed. We will not have any regular activities at Bearable Traders. We are taking the long weekend as well. So we will see you back Tuesday morning for the open. We will not have any scheduled activity Monday, and the markets are closed altogether. So with that, let's take a look at some levels. Carlos has got a lot of work to do.
Yes, I do. And also just a reminder, guys, if you're joining this week for the intro membership, we will have that class or that online webinar on Tuesday. So Tuesday at 7 p.m., not our regular time at 8 p.m. because Tuesday at 8 p.m. we have something else happening that Mike is going to be running there. So you can join for that and then can go right straight into the next event at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. All right, folks, let's get to it. So we have quite a bit to go through here. Let's go through this list first and see what is looking good and what we need to remove. Let's start over with JD. So I like JD today, guys. Again, has been very active over the last couple of days. Some really good movements out of it. We're sitting right at an area that was prior resistance that has been support for the last 2 days. That has been pretty wild moves here. Look at this drop here from 55 all the way down to 51, found support back up. Same thing here, up 53 down to 51 again, that same area, and up one more time. So I really like the way this is forming here, and so definitely want to take a look at how JD is going to move today. Here is Roku, guys. Roku also very active, great pre-market action as well. Again, we're sitting right at this area of support that was prior resistance. You can also go back a little bit more. You can see how the stock has been playing around with that area, previous day close 115. So I love the way that's there. I want to keep an eye on this one. mRNA is very active. We'll do that one as well. NCLH definitely the mover today out of the cruise lines, although CCL is starting to pick up a little bit here, but NCLH is definitely leading the way. We'll decide which one's the best one in a second. Nvidia is starting to get very active here, giving some back, and also just an amazing daily on Nvidia. Either way it goes, up or down, I think Nvidia is going to be a great play today. A little more on the expensive side, sitting at 351, but I think it's a good one today. BA is decent. Look at the drop there. TLRY, I'm going to remove TLRY. I think I want to watch ACB instead. So I'm going to remove TRY from this list. Could be a good possible. BA I like. I didn't remove as much as I thought I would. There's a lot of stuff that looks good here this morning. Okay, IQ. Let's remove IQ, guys. Right now, not much volume, so we'll get rid of that one. JD could represent these stocks. And out of JD and BABA, I gotta say I don't like BABA as much personally to trade, but they have a really good pre-market action this morning. I think JD might need to take the back seat today because I don't want to watch them both. I want to be able to get a full range of a few things on here. So I'm going to remove JD, but we'll leave it on here. We'll do levels for it because I know some people are going to be watching this one, and I think we do have an amazing list. A lot that looks good here. All right, let's start with ACB. I think this one has been very explosive over the last couple of days. Levels down here, low of the pre-market 1565. Your high is sitting at 1698, almost 17 there. So we'll mark that down. Then outside of that range, you do have your highs, previous day close in here as well. Your lows from the last two trading days also got you covered towards the bottom. Again, just plenty of levels on ACB, and just look at, as we mentioned earlier, the last couple of days, the range has been just incredible. So let's see what happens. Pre-market action really getting going here. We got some pretty good activity, some nice movement out of this ACB this morning. JD doesn't have the best pre-market action, but let's do some levels. I do love the daily. We've seen better out of this stock in the past for sure, especially the last couple of days. Low of the pre-market is already pretty much marked by this low of 2 days ago, so I'm not going to mark that down. This is a more important level than the one that is up there right on here, sitting slightly below 51. Below that, if we do get a drop, 48.97 is a clear level of resistance that can now become support. And in between here, guys, you really don't have anything all that clean. I'm going to mark down 50. I think that whole dollar number could be significant, and you can tell here because if you look at this date here, the midpoint of this day is exactly $50. So again, there's no great daily major levels on this area like you see here, or like you are seeing right here in these last 3 days. Again, major support. Let's see if it's actually going to even break down from there, because it's just going to have that 50 for a midway point to the next level, which is 48.97. That's the real level that you have some support coming in there. For Roku, guys, again, this level, as we mentioned earlier, major support right here. We've been trading above this level for almost for 2 months, or a month and a half, looks like here. So again, just kind of trending around here. Every time we bounce off this level, every time we get to it, we bounce off of it. Today we're slightly below it, so let's see if we're going to recover or we're going to lose it. Again, they got some slight negative news behind it, as Peter was mentioning earlier, in regards to some violations of some patterns there, or whatever, or some copyrights, whatever it might be. So 109.93, low of your pre-market, sitting at exactly at 110. Below that, you do have 102.24, which is an amazing support. Look at these 2 days here, nice gap up. That support was tested twice. That was prior resistance as well. So again, it's a beautiful level to have. In between here, guys, we do have a big drop, but we do have a moving average coming in here, right, slightly above 105 at 105.67. So I'm going to mark that down just to have a midpoint here, because again, that's a big drop. I don't expect Roku to drop like that unless something really goes wrong here. And then towards the top, previous day close, again, you have tons of congestion here because we've been consolidating between 120 and 115 for the last 5-6 days. I mean, just bouncing back and forth between this area. So again, tons of levels towards the top, and tons of strong level. This 120, guys, this is a strong level. Look how many times, let me just draw a line here, how many times it has been tested. Every time you see a level like that being tested 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 10, 15 times here, that is a very strong level you want to have on your charts. Here's mRNA, beautiful pre-market action. A high of your pre-market right now sitting at 71.88. Let's hope that it can be tradable, that it gives us some good opportunity. Right now, the pre-market, it looks pretty amazing, moving very well. Let's hope it continues to do that into the open. Towards the bottom, plenty of support down here. Again, again, we have a beautiful area of resistance over these last couple of days, 5 days or so. Just look how great that has been. That has now become support for the last 3 days, including today. So you have several days just getting bouncing off this 66 area. So a beautiful daily that we have going on here. Towards the bottom, if we lose this support, doesn't look like it wants to head that way now, as we are up 3.7, almost 4%. We do have 63.11, and then below that we do have 60.26. Towards the top, we have plenty, guys, highs and lows for the last 2 trading days. NCLH continues to just rip higher here. Beautiful breakout yesterday. Again, here out of 13 is a possible continuation today. Low of our pre-market sitting all the way down here at 13.42. What I like about this low of the pre-market is also has been tested several times right on there. So again, pretty good level of support there. High of the pre-market right now is sitting at 14.54. I don't think that's going to last very long, but I'm going to mark that down for the most part. Above that, we do have 15.21, and then above that, we have 15.70, and then another one all the way up here at 16.41. So let's see how good this news that they're having this morning, this positive news, is going to react today. Again, looking very strong and looking very explosive. I think by the time we come back and take a look at this before the open, this might be above that 14.53. The way it's setting up right now, getting right to a point of explosion there. Here's CCL, not looking as explosive. Still has a nice daily chart as well here. Again, an area of the previous day close, we've seen a lot of resistance on here. We've been consolidating between this range as well. Several times we have been able to pop out of that range, but have not been able to really hold. High of the pre-market right now sitting at 14.95. Above that, we do have an area here at 15.29, all the way up here at 15.65 as well. Again, plenty of levels towards the top, and towards the bottom, you just have this consolidation and some real good support over at around 13.88, 14 bucks there. Here is Nvidia. So Nvidia holding the previous day close. We kind of tipped our toes here below in the pre-market low, sitting at around 346.71, but bouncing back and trying to stay above this previous day close line, stay green for the most part. This is also a very strong support for this stock. Again, we had an amazing move. Look at this day here. We gapped up for a beautiful continuation and have been able to hold this new support that we have here. This stock has been doing that quite a bit. If you go back here, if you just kind of zoom out, we've been having a lot of consolidations and breakout. You know, again, a lot of consolidations. Here it dipped down, but again, also broke out. So it's been trending very nice. One of the stocks that has been again has been back to where they were, and even has blown through that, hitting some all-time highs. So we've seen a lot of that this week. So it's great for the market. All right, let's see what else we got here, guys. So again, plenty of levels here. I think we're within this consolidation range. I like the way the pre-market is right now. Again, a little more on the expensive side. Here is Baba. I would normally remove this stock and watch like a JD, but this pre-market action starts off a little rough, right? Trying to figure out what's happening, and then here it just takes and turns to this beautiful transition of some really good pre-market trading. So I love the way that's happening right now. Low of the pre-market at 205. Below that, here's where it gets tough, because Baba has probably one of the most hardest daily charts to read. But I do see this 200 here. So this 200 looks very clean for the most part. You have several days using that as resistance right on here. You got some support happening here in a couple of days, and also some more support happening here also at 200. Aside from that, guys, I am not seeing anything all that clean within this area here between 205 and 200. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is. We can, right on here, midpoint, just like we did on Baba yesterday. I'm sorry, on BA, we can put this point here around 202.76, kind of midway. But if you draw a line on here, you do have several days that are slowly bouncing off of that. Again, not a major area of change in direction like we're seeing here, right? The pre-market high for the last 2 trading days, but you do have somewhat of support around that 202.76, worth having there just in case we're going to test that. All right, let's look at BA. BA possible continuation. I love the way the pre-market is setting up again here. Again, we had a beautiful breakout yesterday, hitting some of these areas of resistance that has been a major struggle for this stock to get above over the last couple of days. Let's see if we are going to test that again one more time. Our pre-market high is sitting 141.74, and again, we have this beautiful level all the way up here at 144.21, which is the high from yesterday. If we can break out of that, we have some room towards at least 147, looks like. Towards the bottom, plenty of congestion over here, guys, so do not need to add any more. Highs and lows from the last 2 trading days got you pretty much covered. All right, let's look at some possibles. So JD, we already looked at. DE, not doing all that much right now. Foot Locker, as we mentioned, these are some good possibles that if they can get going, get some volume, could be great for later in the morning if we can get that going. Let me see if I find anything else that looks pretty good in here. Yeah, for the most part, our possibles, United might be the only one that has a pretty good volume. The rest are just sitting tight, waiting to see what's going to happen at the open. NAVB is really active, guys. 8 million shares traded right now. Again, just be very careful. This is a low flow stock sitting. What's the float on this one? I think 10. Yeah, sitting at 10 million. So again, it's very extended pre-market now, so be very, very careful getting into the stock or trading it at the open as well. All right, I think we have a pretty good list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's get rid of some. Way too many. I like ACB, JD. I think I'm gonna move down. Yep, I'm gonna move JD down, so we'll remove that one. Roku could be good, guys, but you know what? It's not showing us a lot right now, so I'm gonna put it down as a possible, and we'll fine tune even the possibles list because we have way too many. As Peter moves Norm's mic there. So Roku, we're going to move down. We'll keep an eye on that on scanners. mRNA already active, good to go. Here we go. NCLH, as we mentioned, I think it's going to be nice today. CCL, not all that great, so I'm going to move down CCL as a good possible, and we'll fine tune our possibles list. How many we have? Do we have 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. And I think this 6 is a very, very nice list. Baba continues to leak here, guys. Let's see if we can get that back down to that 205, which is the low of the pre-market. All right, fine tune our list. CCL, Roku's making it. JD is going to do it. DE, I'm going to wait for Peter to call that one out to me as well as Full Locker. I know Peter's going to be watching these for possible plays. And again, Peter trades almost for the entire day, so he's around most of the time. So he can watch a lot more stocks than you can if you're just trading the open, because he has a whole list of things he's looking for and he has the time to go through them, which is great. So many different ways to trade the market, guys. Anybody that tells you that this is the best time or this is the only way is completely out of their minds. I've seen traders do things that I would not personally do, but it works for them and they can do it over and over again on a consistent basis, and that's all that matters. That's really all that matters. Can you do it on a consistent basis without risking too much, and be consistent is the key. All right, so JD is good. BJ's, I'm gonna take out BJ. I'll keep BJ's. Possible continuation on BJ's, guys. A huge day yesterday. I'm so pissed we took this one off my list because just look how it traded. I mean, it definitely fooled me and Norm here on the way this traded yesterday. Here's a UL, good possible as well. I think we have a pretty good list. All right, let's look at what we have. Peter, anything else that you like on your end that has come up?
The only one that I don't think we covered that people had mentioned is HPE. HP Enterprise had earnings. They weren't great, and they've announced that they're going to be hitting job cuts, which implies that they're expecting longer-term impact on their business. So again, this one rarely ever trades well pre-market, so I don't expect anything out of it right now. But it could be good for some movement downwards after the open. We'll see.
Gotcha. I'm going to throw it on here, guys, just to see what happens there. All right, guys, let's read out what the moderators are watching this morning. Let's go to the top here. We do have Jared, so he has his announcements there and what he's watching. But as far as stocks, PEP, again, he's watching that one. INTC, TSM, SMH, and he's got some other ones out here, INTC as well, TSNM. He has some notes on there, what he's looking for on those. Here is what Thor's watching: WORK, Work, CCL, ACB, BA. What else we have? Delta. What's going on with Delta? We did not take a look at that. Delta, for the most part, yeah, got some good volume on Delta as well. Possible breakout here on the daily. Looks pretty good. Actually, you know what? I'm going to add Delta also, guys. Let's throw that on there for a good possible. All right, Eamon is watching NCLH BBY. So BBY was the one that was active yesterday. Again, this morning, not doing all that much, but I'm expecting you looking for a possible continuation here, unless you're confusing it for BBBY, which I think some people did yesterday. And then secondary mRNA and not Norm, which is Peter today, is watching BABA, NVIDIA, NCLH, DE, PA, NW, ABT, HPE, FL, and mRNA. All right, guys, we have a pretty good list. Thank you so much for joining us, guys, this Friday. Again, trade safe today. We're going into a very long weekend. You want to make sure you're trading well today and not beating yourself up when the trading day is done, noticing that you did not follow your rules. So again, let's end the week very strong. Let's go in with a clear mindset that we did follow our rules this week. Today's not the day to be a hero, guys. So if you've been having a bad week, reduce your size, take it easy. Do not try to make up the week if it's red. You know, we focus on just trading well, and the rest will fall in place. All right, guys. Peter, any last words?
Yeah. I'll just say, guys, I appreciate you laughing along with me. Really, it's all in jest as my ode to Norm is here. He, with family issues and packing, just couldn't make it this morning. So it was my pleasure and honor to be able to fill in for him. He'll be back with us Tuesday morning when the markets open. Remember, Monday's a holiday, as Carlos says. Trade safe. This is not the time to try and sort of make back any losses or be a hero. Take your trade, stick to your strategy, and you'll do fine. Take care and have a great trading day.
Absolutely. Just want to fill in. Brian just sent his list. I want to put that out there too. He's watching Baba, NCLH, JD, and NAVB. So that's his list for the day. All right, Peter. Before we let you go, any hints of who's next on the podcast? Any little anything that we can get from you out of that? By the way, those are amazing. You guys are doing a great job. But just anything that we can expect.
Yeah, well, we got some good sessions. I will say upcoming. Dr. Katz, Jonathan, and I had some great conversations about trading motivation and how you manage your motivation in all markets. Hold on a sec. Hey guys, how's it going? Um, I do have the famous Kyle's hotkeys. If you're in the room here, you know Kyle, because how many of us have leveraged his hotkeys in one form or another over the last little while. So Kyle agreed to talk to us, and that will be one coming up in a couple of weeks. So that's absolutely something to look forward to.
Excellent. Looking forward to that, man. All right, guys, take care. Have a great weekend, and we will see you on Tuesday.
Take care, everyone.